Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks here on a Eagles 5 game winning streak. So
Crazy,
we
crazy times
are
we live in.
we're what a life we are living. I mean, Sixers are
Insane.
garbage, so we don't have to worry about them. But the
That is true. They
Eagles,
do stink.
Eagles are killing it right now.
It helps when before we get into this, can we just have a moment of silence real fast
Okay.
for the death of the Cowboy season? Because that is definitely done. So just said out of
Pour
respect, out
one
of
out.
respect.
Pour one out.
Bow your heads out of respect.
Okay, I'm bowing.
And that's it. Goodbye, Dallas. It was
Um,
fun while it lasted, but this is it. They're goodbye.
oh,
I
it
mean, I
brings me
know
such joy.
I can't see a world where Dak doesn't get the surgery. Kind of sucks, but you know what makes it even more curious? Is it sounded like it was pretty obvious that Dak needed some significant surgery. I was probably
hmm
going to miss this season. So why did you go trade for a number two wide receiver at the deadline? Why didn't you start moving people? Like you knew the season was a write-off. You weren't going to do you stink. Your record stinks. Dak's gone. Like, I didn't really get the one that there, but I mean it's Jerry. So we don't
What
want to, I
who
don't want to digress.
what was the Panthers receiver that they traded for?
Jonathan Mingo,
Did
a
he even
terrible,
did he even play
terrible. No, he
against
was
the Eagles?
terrible. He's one of the worst wide receivers in the league.
I'm curious if he I'll
It's
look at
just
the stats.
it's a very confusing world that Dallas lives in. They were talking about like, oh well, they didn't put Dak on the IR. They could have freed up a roster spot. I don't know if that would have really mattered, but that's just something that you think, well, why not? I feel like that's a given. And then the fact that he's going to New York to check with a specialist, you know what that means? That means that the team doctors have already told him the bad news, and
Yeah.
they travel the country to go find someone that's going to tell him something different. But hats off to Jerry. He's still out there trading fourth round picks for awful wide receivers on the worst team in the NFL. So, but we'll leave it alone. That was my moment. That's the moment I'm gonna have for the Cowboys. Screw them. Goodbye. We'll see you next year. The Eagles, though, the Eagles looked pretty good. Not great in the first half,
True.
or like first quarter, I should say. But I think
Mhm.
that seems like a given every single week.
Yeah.
But they really put it together at halftime. I don't know what Nick does at halftime, but it's working.
I, yeah, I'm not sure either, but I was when leading up to this game, I kept saying like, if they overlook the Cowboys and all their issues and injuries, this is a trap game that they could easily lose. And it looked like that's what was going to happen. I mean, how many opportunities? It looked like we should have been up like 30-0 at halftime. So many missed
Oh my God,
opportunities
yeah.
and
The fumbles and the interceptions. Oh, it scared me a little bit. I mean, the
Jalen played
interception,
like dog shit the first half, and then he flipped the switch a complete 180, played
I'll give
lights
the
out. But
I'll give Diggs the credit on the interception. I actually thought that was a really good play
that
by him.
was if you watch the replay, he literally came out of nowhere. Like
Yeah, I mean, if you want to
he
critique,
jumped
fine.
far as fuck to get to that ball.
Yeah, if you want to critique and say the ball should be out a little further, I mean, fine. But that was a Diggs play.
Yeah, it
That
was a
was
good play.
really
It was a
good.
good play.
The fumble, though, man, I almost had a heart attack. I was
What
like,
are they,
here we go.
honestly,
We're back to it.
the fumbles and the pick aren't even what I'm mad at him about. It's the five sacks in the first was like the first quarter was like 5 sacks. They said he was pressured on like 40% of the snaps
Yeah.
in the first half, which I guess that's also part of the O line's fault. They were having troubles with adjusting, maybe, but yeah, I was like, what the hell? And he was just not getting rid of it. He was taking dumb sacks, and
I mean,
he
yeah,
didn't get sacked at all in the second half. So
yeah, the ball was definitely coming out quicker. Yeah, it definitely seemed like he was holding the ball too much.
hmm.
He didn't seem as quick with it.
He
I didn't
wasn't
see him
fluid.
scramble. Didn't see him scramble forward much. There was a lot of running backwards and to the side. Like we've seen him kind of get a lot of yards on the ground, breaking the
He
pocket
did
the
that
last
more
couple weeks.
in the second half. He had a couple vertical
Oh yeah, but
rushes.
that
He finished like 56 yards.
oh well, that's I mean that was I mean this guy was running like in the first half or first quarter he was like running 5 yards behind the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage trying to get out and you're like dude just get rid of the ball. If you ever have to run backwards, just get rid of it. We don't need that. But I mean, yeah, the fumble, I mean, I think it's part of PTSD, to be honest. Like I just see him fumble and I immediately just like bring me back to the dog days in the beginning of the year. Um, but I mean, listen, they figured it out. They let a bad team hang around way too long. But I did think that the score right before halftime was very impressive. And that was exactly what you needed.
Well, I in retrospect, like Dallas very easily could have been up the way the Eagles were letting them stay in this game. And for
Oh yeah,
the defense came, stopped them twice in the red zone. Um, and twice, I think it was twice, forced fumbles when the Cowboys were in the red zone.
yeah. That was pretty
Like that's
impressive.
huge.
They're really turning the ball over. This is
I gotta
incredible.
say, man, like first of all, I mean, I talked about this the last time you were on, but I fucking love Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, they moved CeeDee Lamb all over the field, but like he had 6 catches for 21 yards, and I know Dak wasn't playing, and
Yeah,
Cooper Rush is supposed to be a decent backup. He had
yeah.
45 passing yards. Then Trey
I
Lance
mean,
came
well,
in 21
I mean,
passing
yeah.
yards. They
Well, Trey Lance
defense,
stinks. Cooper
man.
Rush also stinks. But Quinion Mitchell is a number one wide receiver or cornerback right
He
now.
could be a number
He's a
one receiver
lockdown
too.
cornerback in the league right now. I
You
mean,
know what?
Slay is now your number two. Like he's giving you like kind of the Sauce Gardner vibes his rookie season.
Yeah.
Guys just balling out. The other thing is you really don't hear his name at all, but in a good way.
Well,
Like no one is really targeting him at all.
if I'm not mistaken, didn't Sauce Gardner like not have a lot of picks his rookie year?
I mean, I think I mean part of the thing with like being
He,
a rookie that I think is impressive and I looks great for Q is like you're a rookie, they're gonna try you. Like it would just they're gonna give you like they're gonna go after you.
yeah.
But wait, no, I don't see anyone going to Mitchell. I saw Slay get a lot of action. They won't even try Mitchell the last couple of weeks.
Slay still like even that they called like a pretty ticky-tacky pass interference on Slay, but I know Slay gets a lot of like slack from the Eagles fans and even some of us, but like he's still a great starter. I don't care what anyone says. He's just a little slow and he yes, he's injured quite often, but he's still in
I
there
mean,
breaking up passes and
he's a veteran cornerback. Like this is what they
he's a
do.
leader too. People don't realize that.
Oh yeah, I think
All the off-field stuff is what they know they call him out for, but on the field is where he, shines as a leader. So
I give him credit because the torch is kind of being handed off this season. Like we're watching it being handed off now. He's I think he's like cool with stepping in the background. I mean, he's not getting burnt like Bradbury was when he clearly didn't have it anymore. He
no,
can
he's not
still go
getting
out there and
not
cover a
getting
guy.
burned either.
But I mean, Quinion Mitchell, if we're going on an island, Quinion Mitchell's my guy.
But
I
I was gonna say Quinyon, yeah, I loved him. Um, but like Zach Bond, I saw make
yeah,
like
I don't know where that came
multiple
from.
behind the line of scrimmage tackles and the fumbles. And you know who else that we mentioned before is absolutely killing it is Cooper DeJean. I mean,
Yeah,
he's so crazy athletic. And I think that's what people like maybe they overlooked it, but like he flies all over the field. He's quick, he's strong. After that, I was watching videos of like people talking like analysts like talking about him coming out of college and stuff. And there's like so many people were like, yeah, I don't think this kid like gets out of the first round. Like his potential is so high. He's such a, he's gonna bring back the white cornerbacks.
yeah,
And
bring yeah, new age.
um yeah, we got the milkmen in the backfield with him and Reed Blankenship.
Gotta love it.
Um or some people have been throwing around the Ku Klux Clamps, which is not sure I like that one,
Yeah,
but it's
don't
funny.
like that. That's we don't need to go that way. He's I mean he's such a versatile player, which is even better. You see him all over. I
Yeah.
saw him a couple times. He was like now there was a couple times where I felt a little uncomfortable, but they put one-on-one with Lamb with man, I saw DeJean one-on-one with him. I saw Mitchell one-on-one with unfortunately, I think there was a moment where Nakobe Dean was a one-on-one with him. Now it didn't really work out so well, for the Cowboys, but I think if Dak was playing, that would have hurt you a little bit more. But
Mhm.
I mean, the other part is it's Fangio's confidence. Fangio's the system is really
He's
coming together.
it has turned around. I mean, ever since I mean, yeah, once they put DeJean in and once the defensive line really settled in and the linebackers really settled into the scheme,
Get a little more
it's
pass rush
been
going.
it's been hey, I mean, we saw a Josh Huff strip sack.
That's true.
Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff.
Yeah.
Still keep saying Josh Huff because he did more for the Eagles than Bryce Huff has done, but
He's probably currently doing more for the
it was
Eagles.
funny on the one fumble. And I think it was the Huff one where the ball just kept like rolling. And I forget, I think Bond might have recovered it. but it was him and like and another player on the ground. And I was like, oh, get it. And then I saw, I was like, Devontae Maddox was like right near the ball. I was like, what the fuck is he doing in the game? Like, get out of here. I don't care if you recover the ball. Get off the field. Because
I mean, he's been so booty, but I guess he's your fifth corner, which is definitely not a bad
I
option
feel,
for
you
him.
know
I don't
what?
mind him.
Sometimes I
Special
do
teams
feel
mostly.
bad, but like bashing on him because at one point he was a really, really good slot corner, but the injuries have caught
He's
up to
got
him.
nothing left, yeah.
Yeah, the
But I
injuries have
mean,
caught up
like
to him, and
you got I mean, DeGene's took his job.
oh,
Mitchell and Slay on the
absolutely.
outside. From the little things I've seen of Ringo, I still like Ringo.
I still
I
like,
don't
yeah,
know.
Ringo and Rogers. I still think are Ringo's going to be that.
Rogers, yeah, has been really nice.
Ringo's going to
I'm
be
a
that
big fan.
guy that will. He'll just be that kind of like flashy, like he's gonna make some really good plays, and he's gonna get beat really bad, and then he's gonna come back and make some really good plays, and he's gonna get beat bad again. That's the type of corner he strikes me as.
You know what I'd love to
So
see him be? I don't know if you caught a lot of that Texans Lions game at all, but
I did
Jalen
watch.
Petrie, the Texans like safety, said
Hmm.
corner safety guy, he made every play at the line of scrimmage in the run game. Like Ringo's so big and he's fast. I feel like if you could get him like, I mean, it's a different aspect to his game that I think he's used to playing. I mean, he's been a number one corner probably his entire life,
Yeah.
from Georgia and all those days. But he's a big body man. I could see him when I watch Petrie. Is like if you can get him down, he's so quick. Linemen are going to have struggle to get out and block him, and he's big enough to take on wide receivers. Um, that was the route I think they should look into. They should look at some game tape I saw from Houston and see if you can find Ringo a spot in that role because I think he can do more in the run game. And honestly, I think it might help you more. I mean, now we're in a spot where there's so many good cover guys. Like I love
Yeah.
Rodgers. We've already salivated over Q and DeJean. Slay
Hmm.
still got something.
Hmm.
I just don't see the field opening up for him very soon in coverage.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it's I mean, this is a great problem to have. We have
Yeah.
depth at the secondary, and Bradbury isn't even back yet. He's still on injured reserve.
That's true. Hey, listen, you know what's nice is I think that the fodder, the backups almost are
Hmm.
becoming the guys that you didn't want to have to rely on. Maddox, Gardner Johnson, Bradbury. These aren't guys that we brought in because they need to be the stars like they had previously been. These are
Hmm.
guys that they're nice to have just in case something doesn't go well. Like if an injury pops up, I don't know if I really want to see Maddox or Bradbury on the field, but
Yeah.
if an injury popped up, they could get back out there. And, it's not going to be like a rookie that never played, get torched.
Yeah. I also think it's CJ, I think we all kind of thought, this year he hasn't played up to his standard, like what we thought we were getting. But I thought against the Dallas, he played really well. He obviously had the interception. He was physical, making tackles. I don't think I saw him, get busted in any coverage. I mean, the Cowboys don't really have a pass
They
game,
didn't,
but
yeah.
I thought he played a better game, which maybe it was because Micah Parsons had called him out on his podcast. Maybe that's why he was a little fired up. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Micah Parsons also just threw Mike McCarthy under the bus, so who knows what the
that
hell's going on
Dallas is
there?
just a train wreck.
Oh
Like
my
it's
God.
hilarious. Like Dak's out. Their starting quarterback's not gonna finish the year. They already gave up. Like I guess McCarthy gets fired in the middle of the season. Like it's kind of pointless and doesn't even make sense when your starting quarterback isn't gonna play. But I don't know. I think at some point Jerry's just gonna get tired of seeing his face.
It's weird. Yeah.
But going forward on ask, because I think going into the season, what did you think? I felt like the offense was going to be more responsible for us winning than the defense was.
Oh yeah.
Almost let's say 70-30 split, depending on how much confidence you had. I feel like 70-30 was a good part. You could have even argued 80-20, considering you brought in Saquon, had all these guys. I
Mm,
mean, the stars all over and the young ones that step up.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet, but I could definitely flip maybe a 60-40 where I think the defense is going to be more of the reason we succeed going forward. Just because, man, the offense, no matter how good they are, and they played really well, these slow starts never get away from them. They keep starting so slow. Like this
Well,
team can't give up an entire quarter of football just because they start slow. Like that can't keep happening.
yeah. I mean, your question is going to get answered very soon because we play the Commanders, the Rams, the Ravens, Panthers, and then the Steelers. So
Yeah,
those 4 teams coming up are, I mean, this Thursday I think is huge. If they come out
yeah.
flat And then, if we lose and it was like they didn't play well and the offense couldn't do anything and the defense gets like run on or, dismantled, it'll be like, oh, look, the Eagles only won because they were playing under 500 teams that aren't good.
Yeah.
And so that's not a
Especially because
narrative we want.
you pulled the starters. You're fresh going in this game. I mean, you took the foot off the gas
I
pedal.
can't
Like,
I can't remember the last time the Eagles pulled their starters twice in a season at the beginning of the fourth quarter. This is the second
yeah.
game that they've done that.
Well, this
So,
I mean, even when Saquon hurt his form,
yeah.
um, and like he clearly was fine, but I was almost to the point where like I don't even know if I want to bring him in. Like, the game wasn't over at that point, but the way things looked, you knew that they weren't going to win, the Cowboys. But I mean, if your stars show up, offensively, you're fine as long as your stars show up. They've proven that no matter how slow they start, they
Hmm.
can make massive plays with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Hurts, or Saquon that they can score quickly in big chunks, which I think helps. But I don't know if I really want to rely on that. Again, that goes back to where you are with the defense. The defense keeping the other team in check in the beginning of the game helps. You don't want to fall down by 14 in the second quarter.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we'll see. I'm confident against the Commanders, though. I feel pretty good.
I
I
feel
think the
good as
Commanders
well.
are going to be reeling from this loss. This was a tough one for them.
Oh, I think the Commanders, I mean, we kind of talked about this. I said I think they're going to start to come back down to earth as the second half of the season goes on.
Yeah.
Um, but I still think they're really good. They're well coached right now, I think is the thing. But when they're faced with teams with more talent, we'll see how that, works out. But I don't think Lattimore is going to play. I think he's still got his injury. So not that he stopped AJ against the Saints,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it would be weird to, considering you're going to have the long week off, it'd be weird to roll him out. He just got on the team.
yeah,
He's got a hammy.
I think
But
is this game home or is it in DC?
I would love
Oh,
to
it's
see
home.
them.
Yeah, they can't lose that.
It is to the point where, like, if they do lose this game, all momentum stops.
Oh,
All
absolutely.
momentum. Everything you built
Jump
stops.
ship.
Yeah, you're gonna have big problems. If they win though, then you're feeling good. Now you're
I
feeling
mean,
like valid.
they lost to the Steelers in a close game, and I feel like a lot of people are still kind of like on the fence about Pittsburgh. And they barely beat the Bears. It took a Hail Mary to beat the Bears, and the Bears have gotten trampled the last two games.
That's true.
They also a bad Patriots, yeah, bad Patriots team. Um, so or no, yeah, they play Patriots. So we'll see. I'm excited for it. I think I'm gonna try and go and watch it with Nick so we can get
They do
a.
need it. They need it for the
But
division run, but also like look at the season. I mean, we feel good now, but man, this now that we know, I mean, at the time the Saints were good, I guess, but the Saints suck. The Jags suck. The Giants suck. The Browns suck. The Cowboys we
mhm.
just saw suck. The best win they had was against the Packers. The Packers are a good team, but that was week one. Your only other two games, I mean, their schedule so far, if you look at who they've played, it's been a cakewalk. The Bucks are legit. I think the Bucks are legit. I think the Falcons are legit as well. And those are your two losses. You've played three legit teams and you're 1-2 against them.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're a Saquon catch away from one loss, and we're a healthy, you know, healthy uh wide
I
receiver.
don't know. I don't think you can justify anything. They got their ass handed to them against the Bucks.
No, I agree. And the Bucks are still competitive without two of their best players,
Oh, the Bucks
which
are a good team. They are a good team. I
like
think
did you
them,
see
them and
Baker's
the Falcons.
his stiff arm throw?
That was insane.
Yeah.
I that
I'll
was
I'll give Baker his flowers. He's a gamer. Like
he's a baller.
he will give you 110% every game, which that's rare sometimes. I mean, especially look at all the wide receivers out there in the world who are like divas. Like it's crazy to me how many good wide receivers are just like headaches.
Oh,
Even
but
CeeDee
they
Lamb he bitches the whole time on the sideline. I'm like, just go out and play,
that's
man. Like I
nah,
don't
that's part of the thing with Dallas though. You got to be like, you got to be bitching. You got to go on your podcast and
well
complain about the coach. It's like a requirement in Dallas to cause some off-field shenanigans.
well
Either get arrested or, throw a hissy fit.
CeeDee Lamb was interviewed after the game. They were like, "Did the sun affect you being able to see that touchdown throw that you couldn't see?" And he was like, "Yeah, I like literally couldn't see the ball." And then they said to Jerry Jones, like, "Well, sometimes affects the game. He's like, what are you going to do about, you going to change anything about the stadium? He's like, as a multi-billion-dollar stadium, what do you think? I'm just gonna redo it and tear it down and this? I'm like, what, just put some fucking blinds on, man. Like, if you don't know how windows work,
To
like,
be fair, though, I mean, to be fair, that is a very logical answer from Jerry Jones.
oh
Like,
yeah, of
this was
course.
a very expensive stadium. Like, I didn't think about the Sun then. Like, I'm not fixing it. Like, fuck it. They better win. I don't want to hear about the Sun. They just need to win.
Yeah,
But I mean,
they're
yeah, I mean,
ass.
it's frustrations all over Dallas. This Washington game, man, we're gonna have frustrations though if they don't win. They need to win. I'll feel good. I think Washington is depending on what happens with the Steelers, I think that's the most winnable game. The Ravens is going to be tough. They look so good.
Mm.
I think the Steelers are also going to be very tough. I think the Steelers get better, to be honest. Now that Russ has settled in, he's not at Seattle Russ, but he looks more like Seattle Russ than he does Denver Russ.
He'd be cooking. He's cooking.
And then who was the other team you just mentioned? I'm blanking. Not the
Carolina,
Panthers. Not the Panthers.
Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah. So those you got to go 2-1.
Ravens are scary.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game. You
You
got
know what? I feel pretty good about our defense going in. Like, well, I mean, we'll see against Washington. That'll be a good
oh,
test.
the Rams be another game.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Rams, yeah.
The Rams like that's a winnable game. Like you
Yeah.
got three in a row. Go 2-1 and I'll feel really good.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you lose the Commanders, you better win the next two. If you beat the
I
Commanders, you can live with that because you
I
mean
think they beat I think they if they are the team that they've shown the last 5 games, they beat the Commanders, they beat the Rams, and they between Steelers and Ravens, they split. I think that's reasonable.
I mean I could argue with you if you
Or
beat the Rams.
Rams, Ravens, Steelers, 2-1. Those three
If you
teams.
beat, well, look at the season. If you beat the Commanders and the Rams these next 2 weeks, you can almost drop the Ravens and Steelers game. Beat the Panthers, you get the Washington again.
Sure.
Beat Washington, Cowboys, and Giants to finish your season. Both are dumpster fires.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
obviously, we don't want to think about that, but you're in a position where all you have to do, you have to win this week. This is the most important part.
so we're 7-2. Beat the Commanders, beat the Rams, 9-2.
9-2.
Ravens, let's say
Just drop
lost
that for right
nine
now.
and three. Beat the
And
Panthers 10-3. Steelers lose 10-4. Commanders again split.
no, I say you have to win that game. You
All
can
right,
drop both the Steelers and Ravens game, but you have to beat Washington again.
so we're 11-4.
And
Then
then you got two
Cowboys Giants to
cupcakes,
end the season. So
both at home. Both at
13
home.
and 13-4. Better than
Yeah.
what we projected it. I think I said 11-5,
I mean,
but
you could be, I mean, 12-5 would probably still get you the
or
division as
12 and
long as you
5.
split with the Commanders. I mean, 12-5 is not bad. I think 13-4 is what you really need to look at. Because I mean, that Steelers game, I think they're still very winnable. The Ravens is going to be really tough in Baltimore. But Steelers at home, the way I look at it is you have to win them next week, no exceptions. You have to beat the Rams. Then you can drop two of the next of the three between the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Commanders. You can drop that second
So
Commanders game if you beat with the Steelers or Ravens, and then you're golden. You might, I mean, it'll be close, but I think the Lions are going to come back a little bit when they start playing. I think they still got the Packers.
no,
Um,
their schedule is cupcake. They're gonna have the number one seed.
have they played the Packers and the Vikings already? I know they played the Vikings once.
I think they played both already. See.
Like they have some tough division games coming up. I feel like I remember them played the Vikings once. I don't remember them ever playing the Packers.
They play they play Jacksonville.
Win.
They play the Colts.
That's a win.
Then they play the Bears.
I mean, it's a division game. It's in Detroit though. That's a win.
Then they play the Packers,
Tough one, but it's in Detroit. Then you got the Bills. Also a tough
Bills,
one. Yeah, but then
Bears
look at this.
again.
In
So
Chicago, San Fran in San Fran, and then you
yeah.
finish with the Vikings. That is four tough games. I would throw in the Bears as not tough, but it's not a cupcake. In Chicago, your division rival towards the end of the season, their last 5 games, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost three of those.
Yeah, to be fair, I did not look at their schedule. I just heard Dan Orlovsky say that their schedule gets very easy, and I assumed he was telling the truth. But now I see
Well, I mean,
49ers, and
the
yeah,
Jags, Colts, and Bears in Detroit, that's pretty easy. The last
yeah.
5 games are gonna be tough.
because
If
now
you
CMC's back for the Niners, so that
Oh, they'll be
makes them
by
much better.
week 7 or 16, they'll be cooking.
I mean,
And that game will be
Arizona
important.
is in first place still.
Well, that's what I mean. The Niners are going to need that game. That Vikings game is going to come down to maybe the division, depending on how they finish there. It'll definitely be a playoff seeding game.
Gannon is he's doing something right over there in
It
the
really is.
desert. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what the tiebreaker would be, but assume the Lions drop 3 of those last 5, and then we win out and drop those 2 games that the Steelers Ravens. We're tied at that point. I don't know what
Yeah.
the tiebreaker is, but that is a very realistic option without us shooting for the moon. I mean, that's us dropping the Steelers and the Ravens.
Well, I hate to say it, but it's been brought up quite a lot that the last time uh Trump got elected into office, the Eagles won
I
the
brought
Super
that up
Bowl.
too. I brought that up first thing
So
I said once Trump got
so like
announced.
listen.
As soon as Trump got announced,
I was like, you know,
if
but
they win the Super Bowl, I mean, I'm he can't run for another term, but I think about it. I mean, I'd be on board with maybe some term
you know that there's
shenanigans.
someone out there that's probably like, yeah, I voted for him so that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl. I was like, okay.
Could you imagine the parlay hit taking Donald Trump to win the
If that was a
presidency and
parlay.
then just banked preseason parlay.
Hmm.
You got to hit the Eagles Super Bowl and Trump presidency. What a win! What a win!
Oh my God. But
I
yeah,
think
so well. I think realistically, I don't think this is San Fran's year. I think that their injuries are gonna catch up to them by the time they get to the playoffs. Like
I
I
mean they're
don't
getting healthier.
I know,
Ayuk's the only one that's not coming back.
but Purdy's not been great this year. He's been very up and down. So
I mean, we've said this a million times about him, but he didn't have Debo for multiple games. Ayuk has been out. McCaffrey's been out. So I think Wonder Boy came back to earth a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still looked pretty good. I'll
yeah,
give him
but
his
that
flowers.
the team's also weird. Like you have Debo choking out his fucking
Very odd team. Yeah, very odd team.
choking out the lawn snapper. I'm like, what like the fuck? Like
Hey, if my kicker missed 3 field goals, I mean, I'd think about it. I would think about it. I
I don't know.
just, I think
I,
that's the equivalent. We've never seen it before. I
I'd
think that's
probably
the
use words.
equivalent.
I wouldn't try to choke him, but
Well, I think that was the equivalent of like the offensive tackle going after anyone trying to hurt the quarterback. Like long snapper's got to stick up for his 5'5" kicker, right? It's the least he can do.
I mean, I guess. But
Win this Washington game. Win this
yeah,
Washington
this
game.
game's
That this
huge.
sets everything up.
This
Win
game's
this
huge.
Washington game because then you got the long week because you play on what's it Sunday night, Monday night, I think against LA. You got a
Uh,
long break. The last thing Philadelphia talk radio needs is a loss to Washington and then 10 days to bitch and moan and fire Sirianni.
yeah, it is Sunday night against the Rams. The Rams have been on prime time a lot this year,
LA.
I guess. So have the Chiefs. Not so surprising,
I mean, yeah.
but all right. I think that's enough Eagles talk for one beginning of an episode. Also around of the league. And like now we're getting into must-win territory with a lot of these games for certain teams. The
Yeah.
Bengals, the Bengals are like the worst best team I've ever seen. Like they're
Man,
like a
that was
real
a
they are
game.
a good team, but they just cannot win.
That was a
Um,
game. Take
oh, it was a hell
the
of a game. Yeah.
I think I don't know why like Khalil Herbert is a good player, I guess. That was not the move to make, man. Because I watched
No.
Chase Brown. He looked like good in moments. Like the dude had 13 carries for 3.2 yards and a brutal fumble that cost them the game. Man, you had to go get a running back. I don't care who it was. You needed a actual physical, let me hold the ball and win this game running back.
Yeah. I just remember I was watching a game like in and out, and then obviously tuned in to watch the end of it. But I was when I was watching, I the announcer said he's like, "Yo, Jamar Chase with another
Oh,
catch.
insane. Insane.
He's over 220 yards." I was like, "Wait, is he talking about he must have meant Joe Burrow was over 220 yards." And I was like that doesn't make sense. And then after the game, I checked um my fantasy and ESPN league, And I was playing against Jamar Chase, and I was like, wow, he had 55 points. And then
So
I
was
look
I.
at it and I'm like, 11 catches, 264 yards, and three touchdowns. That is absolutely insane. And
The second week in the row,
I
I
did
was
call him for
over.
being offensive player of the year this year, remember? So
You're well past that. I know. He would need that every single week to come back.
he's leading the league in receiving yards. He's been leading the league.
That's true. I think he leads the league in receiving touchdowns.
Probably. He's killing it this year. The
Yeah,
Bengals
he
just aren't good.
is. Yeah, it's true. I can't
He has
believe they
like he has
lost
like
that game.
500 yards against the Ravens this year, but two
Yeah,
losses. It's
him and Joe
crazy.
Burrow love the Ravens for some reason. I'll
Mm.
tell you this, the Ravens look really good. Their pass defense is not good. They give up a
Their defense in
lot.
general is not good this year. I don't know
I
what's
mean, their
wrong.
run defense isn't bad, but they you can pass on whatever they want to do, which is odd
Yeah,
because you still have Hamilton, you still have Humphrey.
Humphrey and yeah,
They
I
got no
don't.
pass rush at all.
They're like us.
I made me think maybe Javion Clowney should have deserved more flowers because I mean I don't remember too much about the Ravens defense last year, but he's the only player I don't remember. I remember leaving.
Yeah. Well, the linebacker, he's with the Steelers now. Queen.
Oh, Queen, yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, so well.
But yeah, I mean, that was an insane game. I think the Bengals are kind of. I mean, six losses, they'd have to run the table. But
They just have flaws, man. Their
yeah,
defense isn't good. Trey Henderson is great, but their defense
he's
isn't
got like
good.
11 sacks.
I mean, they can't really run the ball, especially now that Zach Moss is out. Their only hope is T. Higgins gets healthy, and then you know what? It's the air show. They're just gonna have to win 50 to 49 every single week, and
Yep.
Joe Burrow is gonna have to throw for 6 touchdowns, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are both gonna have to catch three of them. Because Chase is doing it. T. Higgins just needs to stay healthy, and that might work. But that's their only option because man, they are not good in the other aspects.
Yeah. But poor Germany. Well, maybe not poor Germany. The game went in overtime. Uh
Like,
Panthers.
what a matchup. This is, you know what? This is how petty the United States is. They haven't gotten over World War II.
Yeah,
They're like, we don't forget. We haven't forgotten. You gave us Hitler. We're giving you the Panthers and the Giants.
it's
What a game, though.
yeah, they
Daniel
went.
Jones is awful.
Yeah, he's not good.
He's so bad. Like, he's gotten
You know what would be
worse.
the most New York thing ever though is if they end up with the first pick, they draft a quarterback and they either cut Jones or they trade him away and he goes to another team and does really well with them.
I can't see that. I really just can't see it because he is not good at all. Like, there was
Yeah.
multiple times players were open and he
Yeah,
just didn't even see them.
there's a highlight of it was like this is the real Daniel Jones when you give him time to throw the ball in a pocket and he just throws it to the grass. There's just nobody around. I'm just like,
See, that's the problem is like, guys like Darnold and Baker who were reinventing themselves.
yeah.
Like they went from bad like situations to good situations where like
Mhm.
players are getting open, coaches are good, the support is good. The Giants aren't very good, but like I don't think Dable's a bad coach. There was a lot of opportunities Daniel Jones didn't make. He just
Yeah.
not that he missed the throw, he just didn't throw the ball.
Yeah, I don't even know where he would go, to be honest. I don't know
Uh,
what team would isn't in need of a
Back up.
quarterback.
He looks so bad. He's gotten worse. It's ridiculous. I don't know
Yeah.
how they keep him trotting him out there.
Well, speaking of declining quarterback play, the
Although, hold
Pate
on,
oh,
the
oh,
Panthers
oh,
got 3 of your 9 wins. They're back on track.
three of my nine. Yeah, they just gotta run the table now. But hey, Bryce, good for you know what? Good for Bryce Young. Seeing him all
Yeah,
excited on the sideline at the end of the game, and
it was nice.
yeah. So I'm glad that he's because man, I would say 95% of people thought he was never going to suit up for them again.
It's true.
So good for him. But still not looking great. But I mean, hey, they won. So, but I was going to say another declining QB. We had the Patriots beating the Bears 19-3. Um, I don't know if Eberflus is holding back Caleb Williams, but he is not. I mean, they're
Holding
ever since that
back.
Hail Mary, they are just dead. Like they have not done anything these last two games.
He got sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand. Like I get he's a rookie, so he's not gonna maybe he holds on the ball a little bit more. But dude, come up with something to get the ball out of his hands. How many sacks do you need? If he got sacked 5 times, you know what? All we're doing is bubble screens and quick slants. Just do it. Just get the
And
ball out of his hands.
has anyone seen DJ Moore lately? Like I feel like he has completely disappeared with Caleb as quarterback.
3 for 24, you know. Roma Dunze 3 for 23. I mean, what do you expect? Caleb only threw for 120 yards.
Let me see. Oh, DJ Moore. He had one. He had a carry for 3 yards. Did he catch the
Three
ball? Oh,
catches
three
for
catches,
24.
24. Yeah,
It's
I
uh
don't.
it's it's painful to see. I mean, I think Caleb is I think he's like very overhyped. He does not look that great. Like
I
watching
think
him,
I think he should have been. I don't think any rookie quarterback should ever start their first year. I think they all should be eased in. You watch behind a good starter or a good, a piece of someone you can put out there, a veteran, and let him watch, maybe come in a couple, quarters, a couple games. But I think throwing them in the fire is either going to build them up or it's going to destroy them. And
yeah, I
we
mean,
see it, we see it a
it
lot.
never really works that well. But I think that's the other thing is everyone was trying up how great Caleb Williams. I think he looks very raw. Like he looks like a guy that wasn't that polished.
Someone
You know,
said that literally all the other quarterbacks drafted this year look better than like Drake May, obviously
Daniels.
Daniels. Even Bo Nix has been playing better. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I don't know.
He's just, I think the overhype on how raw, like, just assuming he just knew how to play, he was polished and this, that. Like, this guy was definitely a project.
I
He
think it's
just,
also the Bears. So
yeah,
like
but I mean, like, he looks like, you get 9 sacks. That's offensive line. That's no one getting open that scheme. But at the same time, the quarterback's got to read the pocket a little bit better. You can't just get sacked 9 times. He
I
just looks
suppose.
really unpolished.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them. But yeah, Bears they had a nice like fairy tale start to the season, but I think they're kind of cooked now.
Yeah.
Um like we mentioned earlier, the Buccaneers once again put up a good fight. Almost beat the 49ers, but the 49ers took it 23 to 20. Sam C came back. He
Good
had
game.
decent stuff for him to get worked back in, but
Hey man, we touched on this a little bit, but cannot be understated what Baker's doing because he lost Tristan Wirfs in this game too.
mhm.
Now he's down his left tackle and both his starting wide receivers. Really, I mean, give the Buccaneers a lot of credit because they're right there. They're still in the thick of things. I think they're going to fight for a playoff spot. They're 4-6. I mean, they're not great,
Yeah.
but they're still in the thick of it. They're not out of it
I
yet.
mean,
They just need some players to come back.
San Fran's 5-4. They're not too far apart from each other, so
It's true.
but yeah, they're San Fran, if they start getting healthy, that's going to be a problem for the NFC, but the I was so close on my correct bold prediction upset of the week. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 16 to 14 on a blocked field goal to end the game. So the script writers went crazy once again with the Chiefs.
Can I
That's
say
got
that
that's gotta suck for them
I'm this is the most terrifying Chiefs team I've ever seen
because
because they're
they're
like
so bad and they keep winning.
it's not even that they're so bad, man. They control the game so much in all aspects. I saw, they're number one or two in like every like long drive statistic, like in third downs, time of possession,
Yeah.
offensive plays, length of drives or whatever. Like
Mm.
they have a very clear game plan. They're just gonna hold on to the ball, kill all the clock they want. They're just so efficient. They just keep moving. Their defense is bend or break. They'll never get blown up. They'll never let you get a big play.
Yeah.
But this team just wins in all aspects. Whether it's the defense coming up big, whether it's the special teams coming up big, whether it's a big running play, a rushing play, whether it's Mahomes doing his thing. Like Mahomes hasn't really done much, and they're still undefeated. Like Mahomes can go out tomorrow and throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns if he wanted to. They haven't needed them to. This is not
They
what they need.
they're a well-coached team that finds ways to win when they need it. Like they're a team that's going to be in the game no matter what. And then, fourth quarter comes around, if you're like, all right, Mahomes, we need an offensive score. He'll get it done. Defense, we need a big stop, or they'll
There
get it
you
done. Special teams, we need you to block a field goal. They'll get it done.
go.
Like it's actually crazy.
Where's the hole? This team has no hole. There is no hole on this entire team.
They might just three-peat.
I mean, they're gonna be tough to stop. Uh, They're just like I found that was one of the most impressive wins I saw for them, just because One, they just hung around the game. They just stuck around. They just stuck around. They did bend don't break. The Broncos couldn't keep it going. And then they kept themselves in it literally to the last second and they showed up. They know how to win. This team just
Yeah,
wins.
yeah. They it's crazy every year, man. But elsewhere, the team that they're going to be playing this week, probably be a game of the year, possibly. Bills beat the Colts 30-20. Colts look like they might have been a playoff team, perhaps, but they look pretty bad. They have
Yeah,
not
it's
looked
not
good.
done. Joe Flacco magic's coming to an
But
end.
Josh Allen, man, he's my MVP, and he's looking. I don't know if he's quite in the race right now, but
I mean,
he's still
definitely not
he's
his
playing
best
pretty good.
game. No
No, but
touchdowns and two picks. It's definitely not his best game to be tooting him up as an MVP.
I thought he had a rushing touchdown. Was
Uh,
I?
Not that maybe he did. I did. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
but it's still
yeah.
not the greatest game I've seen from him.
No,
But yeah, no, I mean they did it.
I mean, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, so they
That
still
is
won.
true. Yeah, that is pretty wild.
Although two of them were not his fault, but I mean, one was a Hail Mary at the end of halftime, and then the other one bounced off like four
It's still
people.
five interceptions.
It is still 5 interceptions. Yeah. Um. Elsewhere, Steelers beat the Commanders 28-27. I didn't look at the stat line. I'm curious how Daniels looked.
He had
17 of
not a good
34,
game,
202, no touchdowns, no picks.
and not a great game for him.
They
The
couldn't run the
defense.
ball. Hmm.
Now, the Steelers give him credit. They had a good game plan against him.
I mean, Scary Terry had 113 yards, but after that, not much.
Give them the yards. They couldn't move the ball really in the end zone too much. I mean, Washington's not a bad team. They definitely proved it there. There was two good teams playing each other. I think they're two teams that we're still waiting. The jury's on them, but they're both good. That's what that I learned.
Yeah, for sure. Um, like I said, I think we'll be able to gauge the Eagles and the Commanders' talent this Thursday. So I'm like excited but also nervous. So we'll see what happens. Vikings beat the Jaguars in probably the ugliest score I've seen all season, 12-7. I
Yeah,
think
Mac
Mac
Jones made an
Jones, yeah,
appearance.
Mac Jones played. Um,
How do we feel about the Vikings? Because they're starting to
they're starting to fall off for
fizzle out.
sure.
Yeah, it's that bye did not do them any help.
No, I mean I still think they're gonna be a playoff team. Um, I
Oh
just
yeah, they're
don't
7-2.
I just don't think they're like
Dude, talk
world
about
world beaters like they looked like they were.
intercept. Sam Darnold threw three interceptions and they still won this game.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least golf threw a touchdown or two.
But and then a team that we thought was on the up. Maybe you know what it is? Every time we put a team back in our top 10, they lose the next week. So Falcons lost to the Saints 20-17. I mean, Saints had, a big game from their team, I guess, because, after they got embarrassed by the Panthers. And then
Sure.
speaking of the Panthers, have won two in a row. Well, watch out. Um,
Classic fire your coach and then the team rallies.
but yeah, so the Saints went on with their new coach, and apparently he had a rough day. He like woke up and he clogged the toilet. And then he
Clog the toilet.
apparently, yeah, he said in his post game he clogged the toilet in the morning, and then he got a stinger from one of the players like jumping on him or something like that, and then he was having a
See,
rough
those
go of
things,
things.
I never get that. Like, I mean, sure, it's a funny story, haha. But like, it's your first win as a head coach ever. Like, leave the toilet talk and the stinger out of the way. Just like embracing the moment. Do you really want everyone to look back and like, oh, that's when clogged the toilet?
Yeah, I don't. It was
Weird
weird,
interviews. Like, dude, just
but
live in the moment. I don't need to hear about your TV, your toilet. This is the biggest moment of your life.
yeah, so that happened. But Chargers quietly keep winning games. They beat the Titans 27-17. I
A
mean,
lot of teams could have had Jim Harbaugh.
yeah, yeah. I mean, let's see how Herbie did. Uh,
That's a team that just knows how to win.
14 of 18, pretty efficient, but only 164 yards.
Jim Harbaugh team, though. They
Looks like they
don't,
ran the ball a lot, but
it's a good defense. They run the ball. I mean, they're
yeah,
6-3 somehow.
that's what I'm saying. I don't understand that, but um, I'll have to look at the playoff standings after this. But um, Cardinals beat the Jets 31-6. I saw the score.
Dakota, hold on. Just like we did with the Cowboys,
Uh,
let's have a moment of silence because the
okay,
Jets season is officially dead.
power heads and Rice.
Yeah, that was terrible. Oh boy, that's it. Goodbye. The season's done. I don't care what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They already got
I'll
seven
get
losses. So yeah, they're cooked.
They're terrible. They're 3-7. But like, what else do you do is the question. You've already fired the coach. You've already traded for the starred wide receiver. You've already gave a ton of money to Reddick to get him back into camp. The trade deadline is passed.
Mhm.
What do you do? You're not waiting on any players to come back from injury. Everything's done. You've tried everything.
You go and
Fire Hackett. I don't know. What do you do?
you wait for Dallas to fire McCarthy, and then you go and fire your interim head coach and go sign McCarthy.
In season? Yeah, I don't.
It's
Man, this is the biggest train wreck of hyped up teams I can think of.
yeah.
It's gonna be
It's
hilarious
Jets fans are the
when
ones, the two giving them the most shit because they're like, we thought you guys were gonna save us, and you've only resulted in the most disappointing season of their lives. So
Aaron Rodgers, probably, I wouldn't surprise me if he retires next year,
he's just like,
and
fuck it.
he's gonna leave the Jets in a much worse
Oh
situation
man.
after than
Oh
he took
man.
over, which is just gonna be insane
He's the
because
villain.
he really is. He is insufferable, and he is just ruining this team. The Jets last year were 7-10. There's absolutely no way they win four more games.
with fucking who was what was the quarterback?
I believe it was Mike White, Zach Wilson. I think
Exactly,
Joe
yeah.
Flacco had a cup of coffee. I don't even remember. They throw everyone out there.
No, Flacco was on the Browns, but
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm off by.
uh
Like,
yeah.
it
Yeah. I think
amazes me.
Kyler Murray's playing well though for the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's
Marvin
true.
Harrison Jr. is having a nice rookie season.
Cardinals aren't bad. What are they? What are they? They're like
Six and
six and
four, I
three, aren't
think.
they? 6-4. Yeah, look at them. They're fighting.
First place in the NFC West.
Yeah. Who had that?
Not me. Then weren't they your surprise team, or were they my surprise sneaky team in the NFC? I don't remember.
Your sneaky team was the Panthers.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
get off that boat.
Oh
You know,
yeah, I
you
forgot.
stick to it. I had the
Oops.
Seahawks,
Oh
which
yeah.
yeah,
They had a
well,
bye.
yeah.
They're not looking too hot. But anyways, and then of course Eagles beat the Cowboys 34-6. I will say one thing we didn't mention is that AJ Brown very quietly had a 100-yard game. Like I didn't even realize he got
Devontae
over.
Smith did nothing.
Yeah, Devontae
And
had, I mean, nobody else caught the ball. It was Devontae had two catches for 14 yards. AJ had five for 109. And then Jahan Dotson had a nice 27-yard
I did
catch.
see that. That was
I
nice.
guess that's
Johnny
what we're just
Wilson
gonna
caught a
get.
touchdown.
We're gonna get one catch for 30 yards every game from Jahan now, but it's better than nothing.
I'll take it.
Yeah, Johnny
That's
Wilson,
much more than I expected.
first career touchdown. That was cool. He's huge. He's
He is a
fucking
big dude. He's been good in pass and
red
blocking.
zone.
I mean,
I know, yeah,
yeah.
he's been really good at blocking.
He's gonna be what we thought Arthega-Whiteside was gonna be.
I've noticed that they're using him and Anais Smith quite a lot, and Jalex Hunt played a lot on
He did, yeah.
defense. So they're getting the rookies. This is probably the most rookies I've ever seen play on the Eagles, like on the field during the regular season.
Hey,
So
like I said though, we give Howie an A+ in every draft for the last 3 years. They better start playing. The young guys better start pulling out.
the Georgia
And
boys are
then,
playing well. So
but I got to say, one of the craziest game I have never seen a quarterback have 5 interceptions and win a game. Is this now? I ask you, my young friend,
mhm.
is this more of an indictment on the Texans? I after you lost to the Jets and you had a week and a half after losing to the Jets.
Mhm.
You come back and drop a game to a team that threw you 5 interceptions. Is this an indictment on the Texans, or do we just hats off to Dan Campbell and the Lions defense who just kept rolling?
Well,
Goff was rough, but he scored when he needed to at the end. The defense never broke, and Campbell kept his guys fighting. But man, the Texans, sheesh.
I think weirdly enough, it shows where both teams are right now. Because I said this like a couple weeks ago. I think the Texans are a good team, but I don't think they're playing up to their standards this year. They've been beating a lot of bad teams. And then, the Lions found a way to win. I thought
Yeah,
they were going to win. We all thought they were going to win anyways. But they came back down like 16, I think. Found a way to win.
five
And
interceptions.
yeah, but I mean, if you're Houston and you had 23 points at halftime and you didn't score a single point second half, it's not a good
Yeah,
sign. Not a good
yeah.
sign. But it was funny. I don't know if you caught the broadcast. They just got back from halftime and they were doing a sideline interview with Dan Campbell. He's like, "Yeah, we just, we got to start off hot. We got to get a turnover." And like 5 seconds after he said that, their cornerback intercepted the ball, and they're like, "Well, that was call it into speak it into action," but
There you go.
it's pretty wild. Yes. I was watching. I was like, I almost turned it off because like Texans should have this in the bag. Like they're comfortable right now. They're doing. I mean, Mechie was having a good game, receiver,
Yeah,
and
it's true. Yeah.
but they just couldn't. They couldn't hold him off. So
Mm. Tough look. Tough look.
yeah. And then so we're recording this episode on a Monday. It's before the Monday night game. So Dolphins and Rams. Not that that game would have much of an impact on some of the stuff we talk about. So, but I mean, I would assume the Rams. I could see the Dolphins sneaking it, but I think the Rams will take care of this
Did the
game.
Dolphins, I mean, the wheels fell off when Tua got hurt, but they haven't seemed to find it since he got back. Did they find it again, or is their season done? Because
No,
I
they're
think if
done.
they lose this, we're probably gonna have a moment of silence for their season too.
Is that our new bit? We just have moments of silence for teams that are
Well,
cooked.
well, the seasons are starting to end now. We're getting to the season ending point of the season.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I just want to see if I can get a breakdown here. So yeah, right now, Lions are obviously the number one seed. Eagles are the two seed. Love that. Falcons are the three. Cardinals are the four. The Vikings make the wild card. Commanders wild card. Packers wild card. But I know you were talking about the Dolphins. Dolphins, they're technically in the bubble, but so are the Jets, the Patriots, and the
Yeah,
Colts.
in the
So
bubbles are a very loose term.
currently the Dolphins are ranked 12th in the AFC. I don't know if I
I think they're one win away from a moment of
oh, here
silence.
we go. Playoff probability. If they lose tonight, they drop to a 3% chance to make the playoffs. If they win tonight, they have an 8% chance to make the playoffs. So
Yeah,
we might need to take a moment of silence for them right now.
we'll see.
But that's how it's looking so far. So once again, Eagles win. Vibes are good. Would you like to lead off the studs?
Let's do it.
Okay.
So this one we've talked about moment of silence and death to seasons.
Hmm.
So let's take a positive turn. Let's talk about a guy who came back from the dead.
Okay.
If I honestly asked you what team he had played on before the game started, I give you 0.3% chance of telling me the correct answer. And
Okay.
I think my first guess, me personally, would be he'd be out of the league. But man, he showed up. Big win, had 109 receiving yards and two tutties. Pretty much a highlight reel because he had only three catches to go along with it.
Hmm.
But MVS on the New Orleans Saints
Oh,
out of absolutely nowhere.
I didn't even know he was on the Saints.
Well, I was giving you credit, thinking maybe you saw the highlights.
Oh.
Well, that answers my question. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was still in the league. But yeah, he came out of absolutely nowhere, caught two bombs, brought him in, and like had a third big play. 109 yards on three catches for two touchdowns and a big win for the Saints, who lost seven in a row and just picked up one against the division rival. So MVS he's the spark that the team really needs. It wasn't the new coach, it was MVS taking over.
Might be. Might be.
Moving on, guy we talked about quite a bit, and one of the Cowboys game was an ugly loss, but this was the worst loss. I put the five interception game up there, but the Jets losing 31-6 is a brutal loss. And you know what? The efficiency that Kyler Murray was operating on, 22 of 24. That is not like a Kyler Murray stat line, I feel like. But he was 22 of 24, 266. He had a tutty through the air. He gave you 21 on the ground with two touchdowns as well. Three tutty game on a very vaunted Jets defense. I don't think we can say that anymore
Voltage. Yeah,
because
they look they looked ass.
Sauce Gardner's booty.
Yeah,
But
he's fallen off a lot.
Kyler Murray, man, big game for him. Give him a lot of credit. They're 6-4. They're first in the AFC West. He's got three tutties in this game, two incomplete passes.
Mm,
Very nice. So big win for the Cardinals, and Kyler Murray gets our second stud.
okay.
Next one, I'm breaking one of my unwritten rules. You know I'm a very honest man and I stick to it. I
Hmm.
try to keep only winners on the stud list and only losers on the dud list.
Hmm.
But every once in a while, there's an exception to the rule,
Of
as there always
course.
is. Because I got to be honest with you, I couldn't think like watching it. I was watching this game, the recap, and watching this thing live the next morning, and I was just insane. I was like, how could you possibly lose a game if Jamar Chase has 264 yards and three touchdowns?
Yeah.
With 11 receptions, man, T. Higgins didn't play. They had only one thing to do: slow down James Brown, or Jamar Chase. Could not do
Hmm.
that. Number one stud, 11 receptions, 264, and three duds, or three tutties.
He's
Derrick Henry's been back
he's
to earth a little bit, though.
the last two games. I think he's been back to earth a bit. Yeah,
And I just think they didn't need him.
that's also true. I mean,
But yeah, Jamar Chase.
Saquon had a quiet game for us. He just
Yeah,
made it. He
yeah.
made good first downs, but the yards just weren't there.
All right, true. Yeah, Jamar Chase, first stud. Always impressive being number one stud on a losing team because most of the time losing just disqualifies you. But Judge, do we allow it? Are we passing this?
Uh, I I approve. I don't know what judges
Deal.
say, but not guilty.
Moving on. Moving on to duds. This one I'm split on because they both play the same position. And you know the biggest rule, lose your job, you find yourself in the dud list.
Classic.
One guy, I mean, seems pretty obvious he lost his job. I didn't know he was in the market for a new job, but apparently, his coach had different thoughts. And the other one, I think, just proved that he's not the right fit for his job. I touched on a little bit. So much praise. Don't know what they were watching because I watched Chase Brown and he was really good at his role that he was doing beforehand with Zach Moss, where he
Hmm.
was that pass catching running back. Yeah, 9 catches for 52. That was cute. That was well. But then people talking about like, oh, you know what? We answered the question. Chase Brown could be a bell cow 3 down running back. Didn't see that. 13 carries for
Yeah.
42. He had the touchdown for 3.2 yard carry and the fumble that lost him that game. That fumble was the game sealer. Man, that was the biggest hole. I said that. I was like, Herbert is the same exact running back. So I don't know
Hmm.
why they brought in the guy that plays Chase Brown's spot when Zach Moss got hurt because they need Zach Moss. They don't need Chase
Yeah.
Brown again. So I think they got a real problem with that running game because Chase Brown is not a guy you can actually run the ball with. He's someone that can play off of a running back, but not.
He's a good spell guy. He's very much like a Gainwell type of running back.
Yeah, I mean, like he's good through the air. He's a good third down guy, but he's not your 3 down,
No, he's
first and
not.
second
I
down
don't think
carry
he's a
guy.
starter.
And that's what cost you the game. That fumble cost you the game. And moving on to another guy who one carry for 1 yard. I had to look into this a little bit more. Not hurt. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I know. I was fucking
A rookie that no one had ever heard of, Adric Estimi. Apparently, you know what's even more amazing? He didn't even have a good game. 14 carries, 53 yards. He had a
It's not
3.8 yard
bad.
average.
Okay. Yeah.
3.8 yard average.
Mm.
And he kept Javonte Williams off the field. I was curious. He got 14 carries, that rookie. McLaughlin had two, and Williams had one. Like, what happened? Because it seemed like Javonte Williams lost his job for a guy that didn't do very well. So he's my another split third dud.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little upset when that game was ended because I had a parlay of a bunch of players to hit certain stats throughout the game, and I had Javonte Williams to get 40 rushing yards. I was like, 40 rushing yards for a starting running back, that's easy. Should not be
Mm.
a problem, right?
Starting running back. That's a tricky word.
And and then I looked at it, I looked at it and I was like, oh, I was like, Justin Jefferson's not like he might not hit his, yards. And I was like, wait, because I could see like the little bar, and I was like, it was like this big, like to 40. And I was like, 1 yard? Did you get hurt? And I went on like Twitter. No, no injury report, no nothing to report. I was like, did he get kidnapped? Like
Yeah,
what?
could have been kidnapped. Yeah.
Where was he? I was like, okay. That's actually the second time I bet on a running back, a starting running back, to get 40 yards and they couldn't get it done. So I think I'm going to stay away from that now. But
Well, I mean, who's really to blame in that situation then?
well, I don't
Yeah,
know. But okay, very fit. Yeah, that was. I mean, that'll get you on the dud list for sure.
that is true. Yeah. So yeah, apparently he lost his job, which no one saw coming. But yeah, so
I
lost
don't.
his job. He's on the dud list.
I don't know how. I thought he was a decent running back, but
Life comes to you fast.
I guess so.
Moving on. Second dud in a game that I still find remarkable ended the way it did. So many opportunities, and they just never could make the most of it. Like they were given the hammer repeatedly to
Hmm.
just put the nail in the coffin. They dropped it over and over and over and just kept the Lions just kept on giving it to them. They were like, here, just take it, please, end us. And they couldn't do it. 5 interceptions the Lions threw. They were losing by 16 points. And you know what CJ Stroud and that offense did in the second half?
Nothing.
Interception, punt, missed field goal.
That's so bad.
Coming off
Oh
an
man.
inexcusable loss on Thursday Night Football to the Jets,
Uh-huh.
and they come and drop this on 10 days rest. Inexcusable. CJ Stroud fell apart in the set. I don't even know if he fell apart. I didn't think he showed up. I think he was left in the locker room.
Yeah.
Bad, bad loss. He's going to feel the heat on this one. And now the Nico Collins injury, the Diggs injury, he's really going to step up, and it looks like he's struggling.
Yeah, I don't I mean, we've seen quarterbacks with sophomore slumps after a really strong rookie year, but I don't think he's playing bad. I don't think he played well, but yeah, it's
I don't think he's
not
gotten better.
yeah, he has not gotten better. He is, if
No.
anything, he's declined. But
Yeah.
they'll still be in the I think they still lead their division, if I'm not mistaken. That division's not good.
I would
So
say it's not really saying much.
yeah, but yeah, not great for them. Let me see, because I just had that still up. Yeah, they're 6-4 and in first place. I mean,
Well, it's because of the division they're in, but whatever.
yeah, well,
So he's second dud. Moving on to the first dud. This guy, I mean, I think it's just minutes and hours at this point. The rumors are already circulating. I mean, he might just get fired so the head coach doesn't get fired. But man, like we talked on him a little bit. 3 points against a very non-juggernaut Patriots defense. You
mm,
let your rookie quarterback get sacked 9 times. You
ye-
couldn't run the ball at all.
mm.
DeAndre Swift had 16 carries for 59 yards, just less than 4 yards a carry. You couldn't do anything. 16 to 30, 120 yards. Like this just is completely inept offense. Shane Waldron is going to lose his job probably in the next day or two. And it's going to be solely because matter of Eberflus will, if he doesn't, Mike Eberflus will lose his job. This Bears team really needs to do something because offensively they can't do anything. And after the disaster that Justin Fields was, because now you're starting to think maybe Justin Fields got a bad rap. Maybe he just was set up to fail. No, he's not great in the Steelers, but
Yeah.
they went and really did a lot of shopping and a lot of improving for Caleb. And Shane Warner better figure
Well,
something out because this
the
off,
line is still not good, but he's got weapons, but he's
yeah,
just
well,
not
exactly.
getting to it.
Find some creative ways to use your weapons just to keep your quarterback alive.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think next week we're talking about Shane Waldron looking for a new job, so that's why he's
Hmm.
number one dud this week.
All right. Shout out to Shane. Alrighty, that was studs and duds. Let's get into too much whiz. So starting off with our favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys. Too much whiz. Jerry Jones is more to blame for this failed season than Mike McCarthy.
No, I'm gonna say Jerry's to blame.
Yeah,
They look at their holes. They can't run the ball. They got no rush defense. Now everything's falling apart because Dak's hurt, but you spent all offseason paying chicken with CD and Dak. The second time you've done this, because you did it with Zeke, you did it with Dak the first time.
yeah.
It's just you're missing out on the holes. You spent a whole offseason playing chicken with CD Lamb.
Mm,
And for what reason? You paid him premium. You ignored all the other spots. This is definitely on Jerry.
I agree. Um, too much whiz. If the Chiefs beat Buffalo next week, they will go undefeated.
I mean, they look good, don't get me wrong, but they're also like in the point where I feel like they don't care if they're undefeated. Like,
Also
you
true.
know,
Yeah,
like
Andy Reid's never cared. How many Eagles seasons we probably could have had where, because I feel like the Eagles were under Reid when we went to the NFC Championship game, those like sequential years. We were like always like 9-0, 10-0,
I
8-0,
mean, look at
but
their so after the Bills, it's the Chiefs, or I'm sorry, it's the Panthers. Play the Raiders. Could always drop that Raiders game for some
mhm.
reason. They always drop one of the Raiders. The
Yes, that's true.
Chargers could be hard. The
Competitive.
Browns stink. Texans, Steelers, Broncos.
Mm,
But they're almost like I wouldn't be surprised. Say they're undefeated. I would not be surprised if Andy Reid benched all of his starters for the last game of the season and they lose. Like this team,
yeah,
they're going for a three-peat. What the hell do they care about a regular season? Like
that's
this is all
true.
about a three-peat Super Bowl. I just don't feel like the motivation there. I mean, of course they want to win every game, but I don't know. I don't see them going undefeated. This doesn't strike me as them.
Could you imagine though for all the Chiefs haters if they go undefeated and then win their third straight Super Bowl? Like that's not that's not what you want to see. But
Maybe
eh,
we can be. Well, we just need to find the Chiefs' New York Giants. Where's the Chiefs' Eli? That's what we need to find.
his name is Jalen Hurts. He's
Yeah,
going to
well,
dethrone him.
yeah.
Revenge game. And then my final. um, too much whiz. The the Vikings have a problem at quarterback.
I'm buying into this one. I think we
Ooh.
all
Mm.
listen, we always had an eyebrow up. We always did with Sam Darnold. I
Yeah.
mean,
He's like, yeah, he's gonna snap. Let's just give him time.
I think it was fun, but I mean, I don't know. Baker's keeping it alive. He's doing his redemption thing, but I need to see a little bit more from Sam. The defense will keep them in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're starting to see issues pop up. Did not three interceptions in a 12-7 game.
Mm.
That you don't want to see. That's a bad Colts team. I'd start being a little concerned. I'm not going to throw the white tail in yet, but I am concerned.
Okay. Yeah, I think I think they'll still make wild card. I mean they're 7-2, but yeah, I don't think I think the Magic's kind of fizzing out. But
Yeah.
all right. So that's studs and duds and too much whiz, and we recapped week 10's games. So again, we do have a game tonight still, but so far it looks like I'm actually going to come in third place this week
Love that. Love
for
that.
our game picks. And it looks like Tim is, well, actually Tim will win. You
Love
will
that.
be first place this week. Right now, if the Rams win tonight, you'll be 11-3 this week. Pretty good.
Oh,
Pretty good.
wow.
We had
10 over.
Josh coming on as guest picks. He'll be 10-4 if the Rams win.
Respectable.
And I will be 8-6 if the Rams win. So
Oh,
not
eight and
yeah.
six.
Yeah, a
Sure.
little rough
Oh
after
my God.
double digit wins the last like 6 weeks in a row.
That's ugly.
But I'll still have my lead on you, I think. So we'll be all right. But
Mm,
but shout out Josh. Good second place is great for guest picks. So
no, yeah, make it
yeah.
hard for them.
Anyways, so rolling into I guess we can do our power rankings before we do this week's picks. So I'll relay my thoughts on the new top 10. So obviously Chiefs number one.
Mhm.
I still say Lions, Bills, Ravens 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, they both had nice wins.
The Commanders' loss makes me put the Eagles at 5, Steelers at 6, and Commanders at 7.
The only thing that make me want to flip the Steelers and Eagles is the Steelers have actually beaten a couple decent teams. We still don't have a good win.
I would say that I mean we dominated the Bengals, and the Bengals went out and destroyed another team, and then almost beat the Ravens. So
Yeah,
well, all
I
right.
mean,
So I've 6 Steelers, 7 Commanders, 8 the
I'm
Packers.
just being realistic. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at some of these Steelers wins. Their most impressive is the Char. Oh, they beat the
I would say
Falcons, they beat the Chargers.
I don't think they're really beating that many good teams.
Nah, you know what? They stink. I mean, they started 0 and oh no, 1-4, but they did lose to the Texans, Bills, Lions. That's a tough start.
Who did?
The Steelers.
Oh, yeah, those are good teams.
Yeah.
So
All right. Keep the Eagles.
all
5.
right,
Go Birds.
yeah, and then Packers at 8, Vikings at 9, Cardinals at 10.
For it.
All right, so we like the top 10 then.
Yeah.
All right, easy peasy. Moving on to our week 11. Oh my God, we're in week 11. It's November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. Shout out all the vets. We thank you for your protecting our country and our families.
Here, here.
Um, but holy shit, like the season's gonna be over so soon, and we're gonna be in Thanksgiving, then we have Christmas. It's gonna go all so fast. But
Mm.
let me pull this up real quick. It's computer's being stupid.
Well, we know the Thursday night game.
What's that?
We know the Thursday night game to start the week off.
That we do. So Thursday night football, Commanders visit our Philadelphia Eagles.
I'll
I
keep it
think
short and simple.
yeah,
I've spent a lot of time already.
this
This is make or break
is the most important game
season
of the
game.
season.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is
Yeah,
make or break. The season goes one of two, those completely different directions depending on how this game goes. So go Birds.
I agree. This game is going to tell us a lot about this team. So go Birds. Next game we got I don't know if this is the toilet bowl game, but Raiders at the Dolphins.
Mm, it's
It's
not a
like
good
a
game.
it's like a piss in the shower game. I don't know.
I'm gonna think that eventually the Dolphins find this Tua magic again. You know, what they were so good, and then he got hurt, and then they've come back, and he still doesn't really look good. I'm gonna take Miami to win this game, though. The Raiders are awful.
Yeah, the Raiders, I had high hopes for to be like a playoff fringe wild card team, but they have a rotating conveyor belt of quarterbacks, so I don't even know who's going to start. So I'll go Dolphins as well. Um, Next game, Browns at the Saints. This might be the toilet bowl game.
Well, this is the new
Wait,
Saints,
wait till
the
you see the game
MVS
after
Saints.
that.
We have the MVS Saints in the business. So
Okay.
MVS is gonna have another touchdown, maybe two, and they're gonna win.
Just to be competitive, I'll take the Browns.
Yeah,
So
said no one ever.
yeah, well, another toilet bowl game. The Colts at the NY Jets.
Oh, jeez. This is,
Who do you pick?
I
I
mean,
don't
you
even
can't,
I really don't even want to pick the Jets, but you feel like they
I mean, they're
have to
dead.
win, right? Like
They're dead. We just had a moment of silence for them. They're dead. Like we can't really. You know what? I'm gonna keep stomping on them. Joe Flacco goes out there and torches them. Let's go, baby.
write this down. This will be the last game I pick the Jets. I'll pick the Jets.
Uh, Rule number one, don't pick a dead team. They're literally a corpse.
Okay. Well, this corpse is a little warm still.
Mhm.
Um, Vikings at the Titans.
The Vikings will get a good one here. I think they look much better.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Vikings win this game. Packers at the Bears. This is kind of the season for the Bears. If they lose this game, they're probably out of play.
Um,
They're probably out of wild card contention at that point.
we're not going to have a moment of silence yet because they're still young. I mean, they are going to fire their offense coordinator. Maybe something comes together, but the Packers are definitely winning this game off a bye.
Yeah, my one buddy Louis, he's a Bears fan, and he's told me that he's like you never picked the Bears to win, and we're like killing it right now. And then the last two weeks, I've picked the Bears to win, and they have lost. So I
Yeah,
am not
well,
picking
that's
the
your
Bears
fault.
anymore. So we're
You
going,
they don't want you to pick them anymore.
yeah, we're gonna go with the Packers. Um, Next game, the Jags at the Lions. Oof.
Oh, jeez, this is going to get ugly.
I
Going
miss when the
Lions.
Jags were like a team you could like consider yourself picking, and now they're just terrible.
Well, that was what, week three?
Week three, and then the Blake Bortles era. I cannot
Yeah.
believe Blake Bortles. Well, the defense got them to a championship, but
Excuse me, don't put any shade on Blake
oh, Blake
Bortles. Put some
Bortles,
respect
UCF
on his
great.
name.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, put some
Yeah,
respect on his name.
yeah. Was he wasn't there when you went, or was he?
He no, I joined right after he left.
You joined? You enrolled?
I know. Yeah.
I was enlisted. Um, but yeah, I'm taking the Lions. Rams at the Patriots. I don't. The Patriots are somehow winning some of these games that they're not supposed to win, but I'm going to take the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams are like they're like the quintessential, they keep winning games that you don't know how team. So I'm gonna take the Rams.
Yeah. Ravens Steelers. I think the
Ooh.
Steelers magic ends. Take the Ravens.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a good metric test. The Ravens look so good. But this is I mean, listen, the Eagles and Washington, both of them are gonna have a like feel mat game. Because if Washington loses the Eagles after losing the Steelers, you're gonna start putting eyebrows up, think, are they really that good? If the Steelers, I mean, if they lose the Ravens, you won't bail on them yet. But if they beat the Ravens, man, you're really gonna put some respect on the name. But it's not gonna happen. So I'm going Ravens.
Okay. Seahawks off a bye visiting the Niners. If this was in Seattle, I think I would pick Seattle, but I'm going to take the 49ers here.
Listen, I've stuck with them. They've let me down some of the times, but
Yeah.
coming off a bye, I'll ride with them.
Okay. I hope you're right. I like seeing the 49ers lose. Falcons at the Broncos. Falcons
And
are the better team. They should win. So,
the Broncos are the weirdest team ever, but I think they're
they
gonna have
are.
a little hangover from that Chiefs game. So I'll take the Falcons.
Um, Chiefs. This is the game of the could be the game of the year. Chiefs at Buffalo.
I'm taking Bills. This is like the Chiefs could just walk through this game. The Bills have this circle. They've probably had it circled since the beginning of the season. The Chiefs literally like have they don't their division is awful. They don't need this at all. The Bills need this just for like vindictive reasons. They need this.
I would not be shocked if the Bills actually not blow out the Chiefs, but like win kind of convincingly. Just could be one of those weird games. But Until they prove me wrong, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Plus, I just need something to be different than you. So, um, Sunday night. Why is that not the Sunday night game? But all right, Bengals at the Chargers is Sunday night. I'll take the Bengals. I don't think the Chargers are a real team, but
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals. They're gonna have to win eventually.
and Tim, what a better way to come off a loss to the Lions than with a get right game on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys. Texans versus Cowboys. I will take Houston.
Oh, that is the perfect get right game. National TV against a broken team, in-state rival.
Yep.
But man, they took 2 weeks of get right game after losing to the Jets and then that
Oh,
five interception
they're gonna
loss,
put 70 on the Cowboys.
and they're gonna need it. I'll take Houston.
All right. All right. Well, that is our week 11 picks. Um and of course, huge game Thursday night. Eagles, Commanders. Go Birds, baby.
Go Birds.
All right. Peace.
Peace.